If you're trying to get customers and you don't really know where they're supposed to come from, this is a video I wish someone had made for me. And it doesn't matter what stage of business you're at. No matter if you're fully set up and running, selling something on the side, or sitting on an idea you haven't launched yet, the problem is the same. And you can be genuinely good at what you do, but be completely invisible. Not because your service is bad, but because nobody knows where to look for you. Most advice points to running ads, and ads work, but it's important that you understand what you're actually buying. And with ads, you're renting attention. The day you stop paying, it stops. Spend $2,000 this month, you might get some customers, but next month, you're back at zero and paying all over again. What I'm going to show you is the version you own. You do the work once, and it keeps bringing people to your business months later. It's slower to start, I won't pretend otherwise, but it builds instead of disappearing. And so both will cost you something. Ads cost you money every single month, whereas this costs you time up front and then it compounds. I know which one I'd rather have when things get tight. Here's the part that matters for a lot of you, because what I'm about to show you isn't really about websites. It's about finding out what your audience is actually asking and then answering that question wherever you already publish. For me, that's YouTube. And people forget this. YouTube is a search engine. Your video titles are search results. This applies whether you've got 50 pages on a website or none at all. So let's get into it. The tool I'm using for this is Semrush. Before I dive into it, I'd like to thank Semrush for partnering with me. They came to me to show you exactly how to leverage SEO in your business. And I said yes on one condition, that I could test it live and tell you honestly whether it's worth your money, including the parts I don't like. So this right here is the Semrush website, and straight off the bat, there is a lot of information. If you're opening this expecting a simple little app, you're up for a surprise. And so first off, I would recommend focusing on learning one feature at a time. And today we're really gonna focus on 2 or 3. And so the first one is going to be the Keyword Magic Tool. So what you're gonna do is type in a topic, and it's gonna tell you what people are searching for and how competitive each one is. So let's put in small business grants. Look at this. Every variation of that phrase people are actually typing. This column is volume, how many people search it every month. This one is difficulty, or how hard it would be to rank with this keyword. Now here's the mistake everybody makes. They see the big one at the top, small business grants with a large search volume, and they go straight after it. But they wind up losing the keyword to competitors because the difficulty on it is higher. And so in plain English, that means I'm competing with grants.gov, the SBA, NerdWallet, and government agencies with hundreds of employees for the same keyword. And so truthfully speaking, if you're comparing your business to an established organization, it's going to be very difficult to rank on those top keywords. So what I would do instead is to filter the difficulty to under 30. And I'm looking for longer, more specific phrases. And this difficulty score is looking much better. And I know that the volume might not look like much next to the big keywords, but it's important to think about the person behind who's typing in that search. And this is where it personally clicks for me as someone running a YouTube channel. You can do the same for your chosen content. And so if you make a video that answers that question, you're not fighting for attention. You're just there when they show up looking. One video answering one specific question, and it keeps working every month after you upload. And this still works for both YouTube videos and blog articles. And so I need you to stop here because this is the part that's really important. Everything I just described is what happened to me. And so 3 years ago, this channel was making me almost no money at all. Then a few of my videos on business formation started ranking because people were searching how to set up an LLC and how to start a business, but they weren't really able to find good in-depth information on the topic. And so my income went from something that barely covered a phone bill to something I could actually live on, and truthfully more money than I ever could have imagined. And so what changed wasn't that I got better on camera or that I posted more. It was that I happened to make videos about things people were already looking for. And so with a strong SEO strategy, you don't need to go viral. You don't need to chase trends. You just need to be answering a specific question that somebody was already looking for. So when I tell you to not take this lightly, I truly mean it, because it's the single thing that changed my income. But here's the honest part. When I first started, I didn't have a tool. I was just guessing at topics based on the questions that I personally had. And so I made videos and saw what stuck. It took me years to stumble into what this screen shows you in about 30 seconds. And so that's the real argument for a tool like this. Not that it builds your business for you, just that you don't have to find out the slow way like I did. And so that's the play. Find questions with real demand and low competition. Answer them better than anyone else, and then repeat. One more thing while we're here, and this is the part I actually got really excited about, and it's that you can type in somebody else's website and see every term bringing them traffic. And so if I type in Hello Alice, they do grants and community for small businesses, so they're going after the same people I am. And this is their entire list of keywords, which means we're looking at things already proven to work in our industry and picking the keywords our competitors are weakest on. And that's really why we use a tool like this in the first place. We're getting to learn from our competitors what worked and what didn't, so that we can then have a strong strategy from the very beginning. And just to clarify, this is real search intent, as these keywords show what people are actually looking for. And so everything I just showed you relies on the typical Google and YouTube search. But here's the part nobody was talking about 2 years ago. It's the reason I actually wanted to share Semrush with you today. So I want you to think about how you look things up now. When you want a recommendation, do you Google it and then scroll through a ton of blue links? Or do you ask ChatGPT and take whatever it says first? And so if that's how you operate, that's likely what your customers are doing as well, which means there needs to be insight to a second search engine that previously people had never optimized for. And so to answer that question, Semrush actually created a new tool called the AI Visibility Toolkit. It queries ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and Google's AI overview and reports back on whether your brand shows up in their answers. And I'll be real with you, I did take a quick sneak peek to see how this tool works. And so when looking at this tool, I did ask Perplexity about communities for learning about grants. I recommend you type in related keywords for your business. And so when I did the search, I did have some idea of what would show up. But let's see if I get surprised. There are a few names above mine. And honestly, I think that's more useful to know more than if I had come back with nothing at all, because that's where most real businesses are. And fourth in an AI answer is basically invisible, because nobody scrolls an AI answer looking for option 4. They take the first one. So this number here is the one that matters. Share of voice. Not do I exist, but how often am I the one it picks? And so that gap is the whole game. The other thing worth noticing is that it's not one AI. It's tracking ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and AI overviews separately. And there's a real difference between them. That matters because you don't get to pick which ones your customers use. And so being findable on one and invisible on another means you're losing people you'll never know you lost. And this one is prompts, the actual questions people ask in your industry and whether you show up for them. Same logic as keyword research, just for AI. Now here's what I want you to take from this. Tonight, open ChatGPT and type in who's the best at whatever you do in your specific location. To give you an example, you can look up best bookkeeper in Atlanta or best cleaning company in Houston. See if you come up. If you don't, you now know something about your business that most of your competitors don't know about theirs. And here's the important part for everybody without a website. AI doesn't only read websites. It's pulling from YouTube, from Reddit, from directories, from communities, anywhere your name appears, which means you can build AI visibility without ever building a site, by being genuinely useful in public consistently and in places you already are. But there is one caveat worth saying. This data is US English only. If you're operating in another market or language, this part of the tool isn't built for you yet. All right, let's talk about price, because I know that's important to you. And so first off, you need to know this isn't cheap, and there's more than one way to buy it. So let me break it down for you properly. The two things I showed you today are sold as two separate toolkits. There's the SEO toolkit that includes the Keyword Magic Tool, the competitor research, and all the Google and YouTube information. Then there's the AI Visibility Toolkit. This includes the ChatGPT and Perplexity tracking, which you can also buy entirely on its own. Or there's the Semrush one, which is both of them together. That's around $199 a month, or closer to $165 if you pay yearly. And so the Semrush one is cheaper if you want both, but that's not the only way. And so to really break this down, if you're pre-revenue and you're not publishing anything yet, don't pay for this service. Set up the free account, use the free searches you get each day, and go make something first. A tool can help you rank content that doesn't exist. Whereas if you're publishing videos, posts, community content, anything like that, take the free trial. Run the exact screens I just showed you, and you walk away with a content plan that costs you nothing. But if you're publishing consistently or you're doing this for clients, that's when the math works out. $200 a month is $2,400 a year. If one client from search is worth $3,000 to you, it pays for itself with just one client. Now, if we compare that to ads, $2,400 of Google ads buys you a few hundred clicks, but then once they click, they're gone. Whereas with Semrush, what you build from this data keeps working for you after you stop paying. And if you're in that third group, but you generally don't care about the AI side yet, Take the SEO toolkit on its own and save yourself the difference. You can always add the other half later, once you've got something worth monitoring. And a few things worth knowing, some features cost extra on top. The AI writing tool is another $60 a month. And the real cost isn't the subscription, it's your time. This tool tells you what to do and exactly what order to do it in. But if you're not going to sit down and make the content, you're paying $200 a month for a dashboard you feel guilty about. So is it worth it? It is if you're going to use it. And yes, it's one of the best SEO tools out there. And here's your homework. And what's nice is that it's completely free. Take one thing you do, one specific version of it, and go find out how many people are searching for it this month. Not what you think they want, but what they're actually typing. Then go in and ask ChatGPT who the best in your industry is and see whether your name comes up. Those two answers will tell you more about where your next 100 customers are coming from than anything else you do this week. And if you want to run those checks properly, the link's in the description below. You can set up the free account or get started on a trial if you want full access. And so if you have any additional questions about Semrush, let me know in the comments below, and I can't wait to see how much your business grows.